Today we have the Zetian Wu by Tangzu, $150 planar IEM looking to compete with the greats such as the S12, the Timeless, the Hook X, and to an extent also the Dioko. And in today's video, I'll be comparing the Zetian Wu to those IEMs and also reviewing it. Hey friends, Timmy here, welcome back to another video on Guess Audio, and today we have the Tangzu Zetian Wu. Now, this brand is known to come with a lot of accessories in their IEM, so if you want to watch the unboxing to see all that you get, I'll link that video down below. In today's video, we're just gonna focus on the review and comparison. This is kind of a mild V-shaped tuned IEM, very nicely tuned though, probably one of the better tuned planars out there. It lacks the little quirks that other planars have, namely in the treble area. The treble on this is rather smooth. We'll get into that more in the treble section. Now let's break it down into the little components, starting with the bass. Now the bass quality on here is nice. It has decent impact, decent rumble, nothing too crazy though. I still feel like other planars have more impressive bass than the Zetian Wu, but this one is no slouch in comparison to the other guys. It's just not wowing. The dynamics on this is a little bit on the bluntest side at times. It doesn't come across the most cleanly separated between each hits, if you will, but the quantity, the power, and the control is decently done, so I'll give it a thumbs up. Moving on, we have the mid-range. Now this has a little bit of a recessed mid-range, a little bit of warmth coming in from the bass as well. Nothing too much though, more akin to the Moondrop Aria type of mid-bass. Slightly bit warm, mostly neutral with a little bit of recessed feeling. So if you're familiar with the Aria's type of lower mid-range, then the Zetian Wu is gonna feel very similar. The differences comes in the upper mid-range, where the Zetian Wu has quite a bit of elevation. The female vocals do come across more strongly or more forward than the male vocals, and also a little bit on the thin side as well if you listen to female vocals that lives in the far upper mids and the treble regions. Artists like Ariana Grande, for example, her voice is not the most natural on the Zetian Wu, while artists like Adele comes across quite alright, better sounding than Ariana. Male vocals though, those come across hefty, with weight, rich, all in all, good male vocal performance. Now onto the treble area. The best part about this IEM, the extension is great, it's smooth, it doesn't have any weird unevenness, doesn't have any peaks, doesn't have any sibilances. Even if you're sensitive to the treble area, this won't bother you at all, while at the same time getting good quality treble and quite a decent amount of it. Needless to say, I am quite impressed with Zetian's Wu type of tuning. It's not my personal taste because it is a little bit of a V shape. I prefer a little bit more on the neutral side. I want my vocals to be the most forward and the most clear possible. But all in all, if you're looking for a fun IEM that's V-shaped in signature with good bass and good treble extension without sacrificing too much of the mid-range, then the Zetian Wu might just be the right tuning for you. However, this next point might deter you just a little bit from getting the Zetian Wu, and that is the technical performance. Starting off with the details, let's bring up my scale right here. You see where the Timeless is already. Let's bring up the S12, the Dioko, and the Hook X. Now, where the Zetian Wu lies. For me, the Zetian Wu lands around, I would say just a little bit above the Starfield, around the Dioko level of details. Yes, the Zetian Wu for me doesn't quite have the planar detail that I want. It's not bad detail, mind you. Being around that area for 150 is still great in the overall scheme of the market. Just in comparison to the other planars, it feels like it falls a little bit short. Most of the issues that plagues the Zetian Wu in regards to its details is mostly has to do with soundstage, layering, and just overall instrumental separation. It feels just alright. The notes can feel blunted at times. It's not as clean as the S12 or the Timeless in terms of stage air, openness. The Zetian Wu just feels a little bit average. I wouldn't say narrow or small, just average. Now onto the comparison segment. Let's first start off with the Zetian Wu versus the Hook X. Now the Hook X is warmer, more relaxing. The Hook X has more of a mid-bass warmth and a more relaxing upper mids and treble overall, as opposed to the Woo that is more mildly V-shaped, more fun, more bass power, and also more treble energy and upper mids as well. Versus the Dioko is more neutrally tuned. The mid-range on the Dioko is the best mid-range in planar right now. It's just smooth, natural, there's no weirdness. The bass and lower mid-range separation is the best in all the planars as well. The upper mids can come across a little bit on the tamer side and the treble a little bit uneven, but all in all, you're getting a neutrally tuned IEM with a little bit of bass boost, as opposed to the Woo, again, that is more fun and more V-shaped. Now, compared to the S12 and the Timeless, which are also a little bit on the V-shaped side on its own, I would say mid-range wise, the S12 and the Timeless are more correct. The upper mids are not as aggressive, so female vocals and male vocals are both more natural on the S12 and the Timeless. The treble area, however, is where the Zetian Woo wins. The treble area on the Timeless is a little bit uneven and can be peaky at times, though you do get a lot of it and is still good quality treble on its own. The Zetian Woo is just better. The S12 has quite aggressive treble that's not gonna be for everyone. So if you want a more smooth treble, the Zetian Woo is still the way to go. Bass-wise, I would say the S12 and the Timeless feel more satisfying to me due to it having better sense of stage width and also stage height. The bass hits with the same power as the Woo, but hits deeper. The Woo feels strong, rumbly, yes, but feel more contained to a smaller stage than on these two, hence making the bass on these two feel better. So with all of that being said, what's my final verdict on the Zetian Woo? I would say for $150 is still a good deal. With all the accessories that comes with it not even being in consideration, the Zetian Woo on its own at $150 is worth the money. The tuning is well done, arguably again one of the best tuned planar IEMs today. It will depend on your taste though, if you like this style of tuning or not. It is more mildly V-shaped, so for those of you who want something more neutral, for those of you who want a correct mid-range, the Zetian Woo is still not the one I recommend. The only downside to the Zetian Woo is the technical performance and the stage. It's just not competing with the other planars around the same price tag. For $150 though, again, still worth the price despite its downside. The tuning really saves this IEM. Alright, that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.